Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Newell. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. Today's no different. Today, we're back to talk about last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And oh my gosh, this was one of the episodes we've all been waiting for. It was intense. Sutton, Garcelle, they really showed out. They asked the questions and they weren't taking from anyone. Before we jump into that, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Now with that, roll that intro.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
So guys, obviously we know that Sutton called a meeting and Dorit was the one hosting this meeting. It was interesting because Sutton is just talking to the women about how she doesn't feel comfortable and things are starting to not add up for her. There are a lot of red flags and she came with receipts, notes, just showing exactly what's been going on over the last 10 years and how this didn't just start happening. When she starts bringing out her little page of notes, all of the women are looking at her like, are you really going there? And yes, she was prepared to go there. She said that she actually sought legal advice, talked to her lawyer about what this all means and how it could potentially affect her. She said that she doesn't want their support of Erika to be misconstrued of the terrible allegations that Tom Girardi has been accused of. She also pointed out the fact that this timeline of 3 years, because Erika was like 3 years ago this happened, with Tom and where he got into the accident. And she keeps on reiterating 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. And Sutton's like, why are you saying 3 years so many times? Like you're trying to get your point across for us to know so we follow and know the same timeline that you're trying to give. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And then she also noted that 10 years ago, there was a man and his wife. The man worked for Girardi Keese and the wife was not happy with him working there because she felt like there was something going on behind the scenes and she urged him like, get out of there now. And that's exactly what he did. But right after, a couple years later, his son-in-law also left the firm. So again, it just makes the women think, oh, okay, was something going on this whole time? And Erika, did you really not know about it? So of course, Dorit also chimes in on this and she says that from what she thought their relationship was, the Girardis, it's the complete opposite. And Sutton adds to the conversation, you know, letting them know, I don't think that ignorance is an excuse when she's so smart. Of course, we also have Lisa Rinna and a few other people who are kind of quick to support Erika when they don't really have all of the facts. But Lisa Rinna is saying nonstop, I don't think Erika knew. Her husband, as a high power attorney, I don't think he would share this information. I feel like Erika is just involved by, you know, accident maybe, or something else, but she couldn't have actually known. Whereas Sutton is like, if you get $20 million transferred into your LLC, you can't blame being ignorant. You should have known. Even though Erika says, I did not. Now, again, getting back to this Christmas party that Kyle is hosting where Kathy Hilton makes her entrance and says, ho, ho, ho. And Kyle's trying to pretend like she's cooking, which is kind of like a fun lightening the mood because this mood is about to get dark as, you know. This sit down was very telling. Erika Girardi, when she sits down, she lets the women know, I will not be answering any questions. And Dorit says, you know, we're not asking you to. And she said, there's more that's going to be coming out. This is far from over. There will be more headlines pretty much. And Sutton kind of just stops her and she looks like she just can't take this anymore. Like she feels like she's being fed a bunch of bull. And she looks at Erika and she's like, so are you saying that you get access to the press, like the articles before they come out? Or what is the deal here? And she's like, I have no access to anything that's coming out. And then Sutton's kind of wondering, well, then how do you know that this is about to get worse? What do you know? Because you're saying you don't know anything, but it looks like you might know something. And right now we feel like our heads are spinning around. This is going crazy. Now, when Dorit says that no one's looking for answers and she's just giving her unconditional support to Erika, Garcelle stops her and says, that's not what you were saying the other night at your house when Sutton called the meeting. And from there, obviously, Erika finds out in this moment that the women had a whole meeting without her. She was shocked. You can read it all over her face. She didn't know that the women were having a gathering to talk about what was going on in her life. And, you know, Dorit was like, we support you. Garcelle was like, that is not what you said. So you need to own it. And then she tries throwing Sutton under the bus for calling the meeting in the first place. This is why Garcelle and Sutton were sort of the MVPs last night. Sutton was asking the hard questions, and Garcelle was not letting Dorit get away without being held accountable. If you missed the episode, this is definitely an episode that you have to go back and watch. This one kind of hurt a little bit more when Sutton asked about the $20 million elephant in the room. That would be the $20 million that she was being accused of receiving from Girardi Keese at the time. Sutton wanted to know. She asked the question, and Erika gave a very surfacey answer. At least Garcelle thinks she did. She said, no one knows the answers but Tom. He's the only one that knows. And the women even asked, he said at one point he had $50 to $80 million cash. And she just nonchalantly was like, well, if he had $50 to $80 million in cash, I'd like to know where it is. Yeah, so would all of us. We all want to know where the $50 to $80 million cash is. But it does seem like most of the women think that it was spent. It was spent on something, but it definitely does not exist anymore. They don't think that he's hiding it. They just think it's gone. Garcelle did also add to the conversation that her sister is going through a legal situation where she's waiting to be awarded money after, you know, a terrible incident. And for her, she still has yet to be rewarded the money because it seems like the lawyer is dragging his feet. So she feels like this is kind of hitting close to home. And she lets Erika know if the things that they're saying Tom did is true, then Tom, honestly. And Erika said, you know, I think that he let things get away from him. I don't think that he was in his right mind. Okay. Now we did see where also Sutton felt like Erika was maybe or maybe not talking to Tom's lawyer to help kind of craft this whole defense for Tom regarding his head injury and everything else. But we still don't know any of that. That's why today we will be having on Ronald Richards, the attorney who was brought on by the trustees. We will be talking about everything that's been updated with the Girardi cases. It's a lot that just comes out day by day by day. And we like to have him come on and give us some updates. We get to ask the hard questions and it's good. It's a refresher. We get to find out and hear what he has to say because he's closer to the case than any of us. I'm interested to see how all of this continues to play out. And we also know that, you know, Garcelle made it clear in this episode that the victims deserve, you know, more empathy than anyone at this point. And Erika agreed. And she said, I'm the last person I'm worried about. I agree the victims, they need to be paid. So this was the first time we've actually heard her talk about the victims, which was, all right. We're going to be going live with Ronald Richards at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, that's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You don't want to miss this conversation. It's going to be intense and there's going to be a lot of details that we don't know. And I just need him to decode some of his tweets. I need to hear what these tweets mean because I don't understand a lot of the legal jargon. Now with that, I want you to go ahead and comment below. If you watched last night's episode, tell me what you feel about it. What are your thoughts? Were you surprised that Sutton and Garcelle were as relentless as they were, or were you not surprised at all? If you haven't already, go ahead and do that. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that, bye guys.